Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive with us. Today, we're going to be tackling a city that I think sparks a million different images. For most people, probably a lot of those involve red carpets and palm trees.
Mm.
We're diving into Los Angeles. Now, I'll admit my LA knowledge is, well, pretty much limited to Hollywood stereotypes. So, to guide us through the real LA, we have an expert with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I am ready to be convinced that there's more to LA than meets the eye. Let's ditch those Hollywood cliches for a second. What can you tell me about LA before it was even called LA?
Well, long before the Walk of Fame, before those iconic freeways, even before Spanish explorers, the indigenous Tongva people called this area home for thousands of years. Their main settlement was right where downtown LA stands today. They called it Yanga. Imagine. Skyscrapers replaced by Tonga villages.
Yanga. I've never even heard that name. What does that mean?
It means either place of the poison oak or the valley of smoke. Not quite as catchy as City of Angels.
Definitely not. But it gives you a sense of what the landscape was like before all the urbanization, right? So how do we get from Yanga to Los Angeles? I'm guessing Spanish exploration had something to do with it.
You guessed it. Juan Rodriguez Cabrillo. He sailed in and claimed the area for Spain back in 1542. It wasn't until 1781 that a small pueblo, or a town, was officially founded, and they named it El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora la Reina de los Ángeles.
Wow, which translates to?
The town of Our Lady, the Queen of the Angels.
That definitely needs a nickname, I think. So it started as this small Spanish town. How did it explode into this sprawling megacity that we know today?
It's a story of booms and busts, ambition, and ingenuity. For a while, it was just this humble ranch town. But things started changing with the arrival of the railroads in the late 19th century. And then the discovery of oil in the 1890s really set off a growth spurt. People from all over the country flocked to LA looking to, strike it rich.
Oil. I always just thought the movie industry was the first big boom.
Hollywood definitely had a huge impact, but oil was a major catalyst for LA's early growth. It shaped the city's destiny in ways we still see today. And let's not forget another game changer, the Los Angeles Aqueduct.
The aqueduct. Tell me more about that. I vaguely remember learning about it in school, but it didn't exactly stick.
Okay, well, completed in 1913, this incredible feat of engineering brought water from hundreds of miles away, all the way from the Owens Valley. It was a necessity for a city that had, this exploding population, but it also sparked a lot of controversy. We're talking a water war so fierce that it involved dynamiting sections of the aqueduct.
A water war. That's definitely not something they show in the movies.
Yeah.
So with all these people pouring into LA, I'm guessing it became this melting pot of cultures.
Absolutely. LA's cultural landscape is incredibly rich and diverse. Before it became part of the U.S., it was under Mexican rule, and you can still see that influence today, from the architecture to the food to the cultural events. And then waves of immigrants arrived from all over the world: Europe, Asia, Latin America. Each group contributed to the vibrant tapestry that makes LA so unique.
It's fascinating how all of these historical layers are all woven together. Are there any places where you can really see this cultural blend in action?
Oh, absolutely. Neighborhoods like Chinatown, Koreatown, Little Tokyo, historic Filipino town, they're like stepping into different worlds within the city. And they're not just tourist attractions either. They're thriving communities where traditions are preserved, languages are spoken, and delicious food is abundant.
I'm already adding those to my must-visit list. So we've got ancient roots, Spanish influence, this global mix of cultures. But what about the LA economy? I know Hollywood is still a major player, but I'm guessing there's more to the story.
You're absolutely right. While the entertainment industry is a huge part of LA's identity, it's far from the whole picture. LA's economy is surprisingly diverse. Some of its most important sectors might surprise you.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Hit me with some LA economic facts that might shatter my preconceived notions. What else keeps this city humming?
Well, for starters, LA is home to the busiest port complex in the entire U.S.
Really?
The Port of Los Angeles and the Port of Long Beach. They handle a mind-boggling amount of cargo, connecting LA to the global marketplace.
Wow, I never thought of LA as a major trading hub. I always picture those massive container ships docked in places like New York or Seattle.
It's a side of LA many people overlook. And here's another one that might surprise you. LA is actually the largest manufacturing center in the U.S.
Like, the largest.
It's a powerhouse for industries ranging from, apparel and furniture to aerospace components and high-tech electronics.
Seriously, my mental image of LA was all about beaches and movie studios, not factories and assembly lines.
It's a misconception I'm always happy to debunk. LA's manufacturing may not be as glamorous as Hollywood, but it's a vital part of the city's economic engine. And let's not forget about finance. LA is a global financial center with a gross metropolitan product, get this, exceeding $1 trillion.
Okay, now that is impressive. $1 trillion. That places it among the top economies in the world.
Exactly. LA's economic might often gets overshadowed by its entertainment industry, but the numbers speak for themselves. This city is a global force to be reckoned with.
So we've got international trade, manufacturing, finance, all thriving in LA. It's definitely time for me to update my mental map. But let's shift gears for a moment. I have to ask about the elephant in the room. LA traffic.
Yeah.
Is it really as legendary as they say?
Let's just say there's a reason LA's freeway system is so famous, or infamous, I guess you could say. The sheer size and sprawl of the city, combined with a car-centric culture, definitely contributes to the congestion.
I can only imagine. But is everyone really stuck in their cars all the time? Are there any alternatives to braving those legendary freeways?
Well, the car is still king in LA. But the city has been working on expanding public transportation options. The Los Angeles Metro rail system, for example, has grown significantly in recent years. It's connecting more parts of the city with subway and light rail lines.
That's good to hear. Is the metro a viable option for getting around, or is it more for tourists and the occasional use?
It's definitely becoming a more practical option for commuters. And then there's Metrolink. It's the commuter rail system that connects LA to neighboring counties, which helps alleviate some of the pressure on those freeways. Plus, there's been a push for more bike lanes and pedestrian-friendly streets, especially in areas where it's feasible.
It sounds like LA is trying to move away from its car-centric reputation, at least to some extent. But it must be challenging to change the transportation habits of a city that was literally built for cars, right?
It's an uphill battle, but there's a growing awareness of the need for more sustainable transportation options.
Yeah.
LA's, notorious smog problem has definitely played a role in pushing for those cleaner alternatives.
Speaking of smog, I know LA has this history of air quality issues. Has they made any progress on that front?
There's been significant progress thanks to stricter emissions regulations and, of course, the push for cleaner transportation. But the city still grapples with air pollution, particularly in areas, near freeways and industrial zones.
So there are environmental challenges alongside the economic success.
Yeah.
I'm also curious about another issue that often comes up when we talk about LA, homelessness. It's heartbreaking to see so many people struggling on the streets in a city that's known for its wealth and opportunity. Can you shed some light on this complex issue?
It's a deeply troubling problem that LA has been wrestling with for decades. There's no single cause, but factors like the high cost of living, the lack of affordable housing, mental health issues, and substance abuse all contribute to the crisis. It's a complex issue that requires a multifaceted approach. It involves everything from providing housing and support services to addressing more systemic issues like poverty and inequality.
It's a reminder that even in a city as prosperous as LA, there are these deep-seated problems that require long-term solutions. We've talked about the environmental challenges, the issue of homelessness. What are some of the other challenges LA faces as it looks to the future?
Well, water scarcity is a big one, especially with climate change and droughts becoming more frequent. Remember that story about the LA aqueduct and the water wars? That struggle for resources is an ongoing challenge for the city.
That's a sobering thought. It seems like managing growth sustainably will be key for LA's future.
Absolutely. Balancing economic development with environmental sustainability and social equity, it's a constant juggling act for any city, but it's especially crucial in a place as dynamic and complex as LA.
We've covered a lot of ground, from LA's ancient roots to its modern-day realities. I'm starting to see that this city is full of contradictions, with both immense wealth and persistent challenges.
That's the essence of LA. It's a city of extremes, where you can find both unparalleled beauty and heartbreaking struggles.
And where stereotypes are constantly challenged by the reality on the ground. Before we wrap up, I'm curious to hear about one last thing. Beyond Hollywood, what makes LA a vibrant and culturally rich place to live?
LA is a city that, pulsates with creative energy. It's a place where you can feel the ambition, the drive to make something new, something different. And That energy isn't confined to Hollywood. It spills over into every corner of the city, from the music venues of Silver Lake to the art galleries of downtowns.
So it's not just about blockbuster movies and red carpet premieres.
Not at all. LA has a thriving arts and culture scene that goes way beyond the mainstream. It's a city where you can, stumble upon a hidden jazz club or catch a performance by like this cutting-edge theater company or discover a mural by a local artist that just takes your breath away.
What are some of the cultural gems that you think really capture that essence of LA's creative spirit?
Well, for starters, the Getty Center is a must-see. It's not just a world-class museum, it's an architectural masterpiece. It's perched on this hilltop with these stunning views of the city. Then you have the Broad. It's a contemporary art museum downtown that houses an incredible collection. You'll find iconic works by like Andy Warhol and Jeff Koons. And for a taste of LA's musical soul, you can't beat the Hollywood Bowl. It's this outdoor amphitheater nestled in the Hollywood Hills where you can catch everything from classical concerts to rock legends.
You're making me want to book a flight right now. So we've got art museums, music venues, theaters. It sounds like LA is a feast for the senses. What about food? We talked about the diverse cuisines earlier, but what are some of the unique culinary experiences that LA has to offer?
Oh, LA is a foodie paradise, no doubt about it. The sheer variety of cuisines is mind-boggling. You can find everything from like authentic Oaxacan mole to sizzling Korean barbecue to the freshest sushi you've ever tasted. But it's not just about the diversity, it's about the innovation. LA chefs are constantly pushing boundaries, experimenting with flavors, and creating these culinary experiences that are truly unique.
I've heard that LA has this really vibrant food truck scene too.
Oh, absolutely. Food trucks are like a culinary adventure on wheels. You can find everything from like gourmet tacos to lobster rolls to artisanal ice cream, all served up from these mobile kitchens that just like pop up all over the city.
It sounds like LA's food scene is as dynamic and diverse as the city itself. I'm sensing a theme here. LA is a place where you can find pretty much anything you're looking for, no matter what your tastes are.
You've hit the nail on the head. LA is a city of endless possibilities. It's a place where you can reinvent yourself, pursue your passions, and find your tribe. And it's a city that never stops surprising you with its, hidden gems and its boundless energy.
Well, I think we've covered an impressive amount of ground in our deep dive into Los Angeles. We've gone from ancient settlements to oil booms, to water wars, to a Hollywood glamour, to a thriving arts and culture scene.
We've explored its history, its economy, its challenges, and its triumphs.
And along the way, we've uncovered some fascinating facts and surprising insights that challenge those stereotypes and really reveal the true essence of this dynamic city.
It's a city that's both, familiar and foreign, predictable and unpredictable.
It's a city that embraces diversity, fosters creativity, and inspires dreams.
And it's a city that leaves a lasting impression on anyone who has the privilege of experiencing it.
Well said. I think we've given our listeners a pretty comprehensive and insightful overview of Los Angeles.
I'm confident they'll walk away with a newfound appreciation for the City of Angels.
And hopefully they'll be inspired to delve a little bit deeper into the many layers of this fascinating city.
I'm sure they will. Los Angeles is a city that begs to be explored, with something new to discover around every corner.
Okay, so time for some final thoughts. I have to say what stood out to me most from this deep dive was the sheer diversity of Los Angeles.
I agree. It's a city that just defies easy categorization. You can find everything from bustling urban centers to like tranquil beach towns, from historic neighborhoods to cutting-edge tech hubs.
It's like multiple cities rolled into one, and that diversity extends to its people, its culture, its cuisine, its entertainment, it's everything.
Exactly. Los Angeles is a true melting pot, a place where people from all walks of life come together and create something unique and vibrant.
It's a city that embraces its contradictions and celebrates its complexities.
And it's a city that's constantly evolving, adapting to new challenges, and embracing new opportunities.
It's a city that's both inspiring and humbling, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, there's always room for growth, innovation, and hope.
Beautifully put. I think we've captured the essence of Los Angeles in that statement.
Well, I'm feeling truly inspired after this deep dive. Los Angeles is a city that sparks the imagination and ignites the spirit.
It's a city that reminds us that anything is possible.
And it's a city that I'm now even more eager to explore further.
I'm sure you'll discover even more fascinating facets of LA as you delve deeper into its neighborhoods, its history, its people.
Well, on that note, I want to thank you, our expert, for sharing your insights and your passion for Los Angeles.
It's been my pleasure. Los Angeles is a city that's close to my heart, and I'm always happy to share my knowledge with others.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Los Angeles. We hope you've enjoyed the journey as much as we have.
And we encourage you to continue exploring the City of Angels on your own. You never know what hidden gems you might uncover.
And as a final thought to leave you with, I want to ask this. How does understanding LA's history and multifaceted identity change your perception of the city? Does it make you more or less likely to visit, to live there, to learn more about it? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, keep diving deep.